I think about this all the time. Yeah,
For sure. You run into like prime Halle Berry, whenever that time was prime Halle Berry, and she's down, but she's got hairy armpits.
No, that's gonna throw.
It's Halle Berry.
Let's keep her arms down.
You ever see Monsters Ball where she's topless, bro? Come on.
If you're like the proper choking position would be arms down, so we're good.
That's totally how I'm gonna start judging the attractiveness of every woman. Is like, what's she gonna look like when she's staring down the barrel of these 14-inch pythons?
Wow.
Did I just say that?
Yeah, you did. Jesus.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Menage-A-Pod, the comedy podcast about sex, dating, and relationships. I'm your co-host TJ. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, friend, and the biscuits to my sausage, Jenna.
Is it biscuits and sausage or biscuits and gravy?
Oh, drats.
Oh, man.
But it's sausage gravy, so it's...
It is sausage gravy.
Yeah.
You make a valid point.
I mean, if you're one of
slide.
those people that are just doing like a stone ground pepper gravy with no sausage, you ain't my people.
All right, I hear you.
You ain't
I can't
my
really
people.
get down with biscuits and gravy. I tried. It used to be the ex-husband's favorite thing to eat, and I was like, ugh.
Wait,
like what that gravy
that was
looks
his
like?
favorite thing to eat?
Mama, buddy. Actually, no. As we've established, she was always really good in bed. No, but I would always say like, ew, that gravy is like congealing on your plate. Imagine what it's doing to the insides of your body.
Oh, congealing to the insides of my body.
Ew.
Like a big hot fucking brick of gravy.
Gross.
Give
that just
it all
sounds
to me.
disgusting.
Brick of gravy. That sounds like it's like a Motown cover band. We call it Brick of Gravy.
Really?
No, I'm adding that out. All right. Well, we've been having some pretty exciting times. It's a big time of the year for, the dating and relationship world. Valentine's Day coming up. You know what I just noticed for the first time ever, Jenna?
What? That I hate Valentine's Day?
This is going to be my first Valentine's Day, literally, since I was probably like 13 years old.
Single?
Yup.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like first one single. And then I started having this train of thought about this today as we were just kind of kicking around, or I was kicking around ideas about what we were going to talk about tonight. It just occurred to me that doesn't really necessarily speak to me being in these long relationships. But what I realize is that even though cuffing season is a fairly new phenomenon, it's really been something I've been participating in since like my teen years.
I'm sure everyone has. It just now has like a name to it.
Yeah. It's like, and it's funny because of Valentine's Day, even coming out of cuffing season, before you throw the people to the curb, you take them out to one nice dinner, give them a chance.
My Valentine's Day last year was really nice. Derek and I went to dinner and he made me a little piece of artwork.
I remember.
It was so nice. But now I have nothing this year. I'm not even going to get flowers. It's just such a bummer. But, what are you going to do? Actually, today I was at a client and in their building, they're like in the basement, there are like a bunch of different shops. So there was this flower shop where I guess too many orders, right, for Valentine's Day. So they had people with tables outside of the shop putting together bouquets.
Yeah.
Because they were just spilling out. And I was so bitter. I walked by it and I was like, ugh, amateurs and your stupid roses, get creative. And then there was like a thing of carnations. I was like, that guy's going to be fucking single. Who sends carnations?
I basically
Rookie
ordered
move.
those chocolate dicks to every woman I know.
Oh, did you see that?
Well, I saw it from
Jenny?
Previous Menage-A-Pod guest and all-star Jenny.
Yeah.
But I actually saw it all over the internet too. That was not a particularly original play, but I was still stoked about it. So I sent like 15 of them to women.
Oh, nice.
Kidding. But, in the last episode...
Was it yours? Was it like an actual mold
It was a
of your
mold.
penis?
Yeah. So it was
So
really
small.
Yeah.
You just put one stamp on it. Self-took. Just saying. Sorry.
Fuck you,
Sorry,
Jenna.
I'm sick and I'm grumpy.
And you're ugly too. Just kidding.
I mean, I actually feel pretty gross right now, if I'm being honest. I feel like I'm dying. We're gonna see if I make it through this episode.
You're gonna be fine. It's funny though. You mentioned in the last episode about that I should start bringing shirts and merch as a a parting gift. Yeah. I had a couple people reach out that they would actually like to go on a date.
Nice. And you're gonna bring them.
I would, but can I bring them a shirt?
Yeah, absolutely. Do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it doesn't count when we have to pay for our own merch.
Yeah, that's true.
And
you're getting a date with me, which is value for you.
Wow. Maybe. I feel like you only give them to them as like consolation prizes.
Yeah, if I end up not liking them.
If there's not a second date, you're like, but here's a t-shirt.
Right.
Or a pillow for your bed.
Right. Just that it'll be scented like my scent, YSL.
Yeah, you can spray.
Yeah, I'll spray some YSL, some of my beard butter on there. Your bed will smell sexy.
Oh my God, please.
Yeah, and honestly, last week our episode with a former guest and friend of the show, Josh GQ50, got a lot of good feedback about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, people just said they really enjoyed the chemistry and how easy and laid back it was. And it's funny, I could never sell short.
Was it because I was drunk again?
No, it was not. It was just that I think people felt that it was very easy and very natural and not a lot of artifice. And I think the authenticity and genuine nature that Josh brings with him into literally everything he does is something that I think people then feed into that. And that's the energy they pick up on. So that's where I was at with it.
Totally. And I mean, we all know each other now. So it's not like, it's not like
in the biblical sense, we know each other.
I wish I knew him in the biblical sense. No? Should I cut that? I don't know. Anyway. But no,
You saw the photo we chose for the episode cover art.
I did. I didn't choose that, but I was pleasantly happy that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I figured if my argument is that we always do better for downloads when our guests are attractive, that goes the same, women or men.
It does.
Yes.
This is true. Except if we were to put a woman shirtless on the cover art. Did you run that by him before you posted it?
I didn't. I didn't have time. I did not have time.
Oh, goodness.
Tough luck,
You know
buddy.
how he feels about that
Being
equality
objective.
thing.
But I will say he did put it on his own Instagram. So it's on your public Instagram. That's where I took it from.
There you go. Yeah, anyway, I think that's because we're all friends now. So I feel like, it's just like having Daniel or someone on the show that we know pretty well. So, but yeah, that was a fun episode to tape too. Also, like, I haven't been that drunk in a while. Like, you left and I looked at him and I was like, I'm pretty drunk. Like,
I was here for like 4 hours.
I know.
Yeah, I hate you both, so that's the weird part. Question though, Jen, are you doing anything for Valentine's Day?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I
Derek, come on in.
Oh, hi, bud. We'll go get tacos. No, I think, no, I actually, someone had asked me out on a date and I thought it was weird to go out on a date
because
on
it was
Valentine's
like a first.
Day. Yeah, it was a first date.
What about if you were going on a fourth date on Valentine's Day?
That wouldn't bother me. I actually think, honestly, I think Valentine's Day is a stupid thing. The reality is I'm sick. So like, I'm not going.
Sick all that
just,
bullshit.
Like, not, whatever. Going to go anywhere this week. So anyway.
All right, guys, before we go any further and before we get a chance to introduce this week's guest, I want to take this opportunity to talk to you about our fantastic sponsors of the show for this week. And guess who that is?
Us.
It's us.
Yeah.
This is not to beat a dead horse, guys, but we want you to go to teespring.com/stores/Menage-A-Pod. God, that is hard as fuck.
I told you the /
Teespring
ahead of the time.
We want you to go to teespring.com/stores/Menage-A-Podcast to pick up a piece of our official merch. Grab the comfort tee with our bubble logo in one of 3 colors. I love the heather blue. Jen loves the heather blue. They all look great. It's super comfortable. For $24.99, you can get this great shirt and help us to continue delivering fun and relatable content with some of the funniest people all across Chicagoland. We also have hoodies, stickers, and other official merchandise, so check that out at teespring.com/stores/Menage-A-Podcast. But a couple people messaged this week and say they didn't catch the address. So if you're listening right now, I added the link to it to our link tree. So if you go to our Instagram account at Menage-A-Podcast, click the link in our Instagram account and it'll give you some options where you can listen to the podcast, where you can join our Facebook group if you want to become a guest. But it also says go buy our great merch. So click that button and check that shit out.
You're such an influencer. You should put it on your Instagram page.
Oh, I will. I'll put it everywhere.
Yeah.
Menage-A-Pod taking over the world. And guys, when we're asking you to do things like that, it helps tremendously. If you're listening already, most of you are probably subscribed. But if you come to the show for the first time ever, this is your first time checking in with Jenna and myself, we would love for you to subscribe, particularly on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're writing reviews. And if you could, when you're listening, share that shit on Instagram in your stories. That helps more than literally anything.
Mm-hmm. And welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to this bubble of love and laughter.
Welcome. This is what is it? Higa?
Oh yeah. Hygie. We couldn't figure it out. I had to Google translate it. That was bad.
All right, guys. So check that website out. Make sure you're writing the reviews and subscribing. And before we go any further, why don't we take this opportunity to introduce today's fantastic guest? I know I say this all the time, but I'm super excited for our guest this week. Our guest is a stand-up comedian and published comedy writer, as well as the host of the podcast and national traveling show, A Drunken Night Out, which I took a look or a
That's
listen.
like a Tuesday for me.
I know, Drunken Night Out. I took a listen to a couple episodes. It's really hysterical. You guys should check it out. This native of Tacoma, Washington, who combines his wry wit and powerful stage presence, has used his unique perspective to make him a mainstay in the Northwest comedy scene. You can catch him performing at comedy clubs all across the country. I know he's performed at the Laugh Factory here in Chicago, and he definitely is a big presence in the Pacific Northwest. You've seen him at festivals like Just for Laughs Northwest, Gilda's Laugh Fest, Burbank Comedy Festival, Out of Bounds Comedy Festival, and more. So with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ken Hamlett, welcome to the show.
Wow. Man, I feel surprised listening to my own credits, man.
I know.
You're like, I'm actually pretty awesome. Don't mean to brag or anything.
Who
but
is this
it's
guy
cool.
you brought on?
There was a period of time where Jenna was like, do you think we should shorten the intros? And I was like, no, I want to gas these people up, like get them super stoked about how much of badasses they are before we get going. So Ken, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you. I know this has kind of been a long time coming, but before we dive into anything else, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like where you're from, how old are you, you married, what's going on?
Yeah, so I am from Tacoma, Washington originally.
Okay.
I moved all around. I've lived in Utah, I've lived in Oregon, I lived in New York, then back to Washington, and now in Chicago.
Okay.
I'm married. I've been married for 7 years. We've been together for 10 years, coming up on 11.
You deserve
That's a long
medal.
run, man. That's a long run.
That's
How do you do it?
I don't know. A lot of alcohol.
Happily married? Yeah. Drunken night out, apparently.
Exactly.
He's
Every night.
I'm a comedian. I get to travel a lot, so it keeps,
yeah.
keeps
You're like,
things
I don't
fresh.
really actually see her. It's fine.
Right.
That's how we
That's
get
why
along.
I'm doing
That's
the
why-
podcast tonight. That is.
2 in a row.
That sounds like a brilliant plan.
But yeah, I've been married for a while. Been together for a while. I got a kid, my first kid. Just had my
Congratulations.
son. Yeah, he's a year and a half old now. So it's been a wild ride. I have a dog.
Oh man, we're very dog positive here. Tell us about the dog.
Clearly.
What do you got? What do you got?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, screw
Fuck
the rest
kid.
of the podcast.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah,
care.
we're
This is
good.
going to be very
It's
dog
good.
centric.
I have an English bull terrier. I actually
nice.
had 2, and then my wife made us get rid of one.
Because of the.
She just didn't want to have 2 dogs when we moved out here. Yeah, we had a house and a yard and stuff, and then
Yeah.
we moved to Chicago and got a condo. And she was like, "I don't want 2 dogs." And
I
was
get
like,
that.
That's fair.
I get
Yeah,
that.
it was fair. I was like, all right, she's a puppy still, so just
Yeah.
do it while I'm not here, you know?
Aw.
Yeah, do it while I'm blindfolded. Like
don't-
shoot me in the back of the head while
I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do that.
I felt like
That
it was
would be
better.
so
I would have
hard.
cried. I would have cried.
would've
I did.
cried.
I still cried, but she wasn't there to see it. So
Yeah.
That's probably for the best. Yeah.
Does it really happen if she's not there to see it? What is the thing with the tree
that's
in the
what I
woods?
say about
don't know.
cheating. That's
oh,
I'm like,
yes.
not there to see it.
Well, because usually people don't cheat. I mean, in front of the other person.
Of course.
I'm looking
Have some
straight at you,
decency,
TJ.
I feel,
not how
I
it
feel
happened.
so attacked right now. God damn, I did not
Did
know
I
this.
open up a sore wound?
You might have. And generally, when we have a male guest, it's me and that guest then team up on Jenna, not vice versa. Man,
No,
you are
not
betraying
tonight.
the brotherhood right
I
now.
said
What
I'm
the
married,
fuck?
and I've been married for a while. Yeah, I know to attack the males in the room.
Yeah, you're a smart guy. Smart guy.
Man. Smart man. Also, it's my house, so we could just kick him out really easily.
That's me.
Both of you.
Jenna's gonna
be
do the podcast by herself.
herself.
Nice.
Miles and I are just going to sit here and just chat for the next hour. It's fine.
We've already established that it's the great guests like Ken and myself that generate our listener base. I don't know what you're really offering.
Yeah,
Jenna,
I'm just
so-
here. I'm just here for the giggles, I guess. I
All
don't
right.
know.
Well,
And
we.
a great voice. A great
She
voice.
has a great. She
Thank
sounds a little bit like
you.
Leslie Mann. You know who that
Thank
is?
you.
I don't.
You ever see This Is 40? I'm trying to think of like she's.
I
Like,
know that
it's Judd
name.
Apatow's wife. She's in like a ton of movies. You would know her if you saw her. So we mentioned in the intro that you host a podcast and show called The Drunken Night Out. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the podcast I release an episode every Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay.
The comics, well, actually, it's not even just comics. I've had like comics, strippers, homeless people, regular people off the street do the
Sounds
podcast.
like a Tuesday for sure.
Where do you tape?
I turned my office into a podcast studio.
Okay, so you're not bringing the homeless people into your home.
I have not brought a homeless person inside the home
Okay,
yet, but
'cause
that's
that's-
going to happen. That's definitely going to happen.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
your
Gotta
wife's
bring
going to
him
be
in there.
stoked.
Oh yeah, she's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man,
hey,
Jenna,
sometimes-
so judgy. Come on.
I'm just saying.
I would bring a homeless person into my home.
You would?
Yes.
Okay, you're a nicer person than I am.
Clearly.
Hey, I'll put plastic down for them to sit
That's
on.
not even my.
That's-
I just.
It's like an Italian
I just
grandma's
feel
house.
like-
The couch is covered in that shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Turns into like a Home Alone episode.
No, I record on the street with people. I'll go mobile and I'll record on the street with
Oh.
people. But I primarily record in the studio because it just sounds better.
Yeah.
And so they'll come on, they'll tell their story of the first time they ever got drunk or attempted to get drunk or high if you use those substances.
Sure.
No judgment. And then they'll create a drink, whatever you want to put in it, and
Like you might have booty juice in it for some reason.
Ew.
Yeah, if booty juice is your juice of choice. Shout out to
Shout out Kevin
Bucky.
Budke. There's your booty juice reference.
Yeah. And then we'll do a story like your wildest, your craziest, most embarrassing night out, either high, drunk, or combination of the both. We've had like LSD stories. I've had my own stories on there. Just a lot of fun, crazy stuff has happened. And because the people that I get on the podcast, like strippers, homeless people, and comics,
Oh, I can only imagine.
so fun.
It's hysterical that that's like the sub segments that you've chosen from. I mean, there's like so much in common. There's a through line there, I'm sure. All right. Well, since you said that's kind of the topic of your podcast, I kind of thought maybe it'd be a good idea to give our listeners a little taste of that before you check out your show. So why don't you, if you could, hit us with your best drunk or high story?
Oh man. Okay. So this is a story that I probably shouldn't be telling, but I've told it.
I'm already here for it. Then bring it.
We're in it.
It's still legally pending.
Oh shit.
Circle of
Oh,
guys,
shit.
if you're listening, circle of trust right now.
Yeah. So in Chicago, this happened semi recently, within probably 2 months, I think, at this point now. So I should be fine. I was.
Shortest statute of limitations I've ever heard of.
I think the insurance company like already closed it out, so we should be good, at least from my end. So I went out to do a comedy thing, and it was like an audition thing. And afterwards, I was like, oh, I'm going to go out and do an open mic. So I'm driving, and I'm literally driving to go do an open mic, and my coworkers are out, and they're like, hey, which is random, just happenstance. I'm driving down over in Wrigleyville area.
Okay.
And I just look out the window. I was like, that kind of looks like my coworker. And then they just run out into the street and just jump on my car. And they're like, Ken. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's go get drinks. Can I cuss also?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
All right. So then I was like, fuck it, let's go get drinks. So we start drinking. And then I was like, oh, shit, that's right. I have to go do radio right now. So I leave them. I go to do radio. We're drinking while we're doing radio. And I'm already pretty toasty at this point. I get super drunk during radio to the point where I'm like teetering in and out of like a blackout.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's my favorite place to be, if I'm being honest.
That was like me early episodes.
Yeah.
Early episodes of this podcast.
That's the
Hammered.
best. It is
all
the best.
All
It
the
is literally
time.
the best.
Yeah.
Creating content when you're wasted is like the best
Oh
thing.
my
Yeah.
gosh, except I didn't remember it.
My
couldn't
whole life is
remember.
content. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Same.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just a part of it. That's all that's happening. I was casted and I didn't even know. And so I'm like blacking out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And then I was like, all right, we end radio. I leave, and this radio episode was like so bad that they just took it down.
Literally never to be seen.
Oh, no, really?
Everybody was super, like, I guess, I don't know if everybody was like super drunk, but we were pretty drunk, and they ended up showing, it was like a live broadcast radio thing. They ended up showing a dead body on radio.
No.
Like somebody being killed, and I was like,
Oh no.
they ended up
fuck?
getting booted from the radio station because of it.
Because of your episode?
No, it wasn't because
Oh.
of me particularly, but I was a part of
Shit.
this whole process.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So that tells you how this night is going. So I leave the radio station. At this point, I am like blackout drunk. So I'm driving home. I'm
Oh,
most of
smart.
the- yeah,
Good decisions.
Exactly,
Yeah.
man. You got
Solid.
to.
We all make good decisions.
Cool.
Yeah, you have to get home. Like that's
Yes.
the whole my
Kids
mission.
listening at home.
PSA,
Don't
Uber,
drink and
Uber.
drive.
Hey, you asked me to tell my
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Bring
I'm,
it.
with you. I'm just
Bring it,
making sure
bring
the
it.
kids know. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, do not drink and drive.
No.
Because you could potentially have a legal situation.
Do not hit. You might hit a bump and spill your drink too. There's that.
Yeah, exactly. That too, man. Luckily, I put it in like little coffee
cup?
sippy
Oh,
cup
nice.
things.
Your
Yeah,
kids
so you just
sippy
don't-
cup.
yeah.
Innovator.
It's in a
Like, shout out
bottle.
to you, babies.
Yeah.
It's like a frozen
You're having my
sippy cup.
back, kid.
You saved my drink tonight. So yeah, I'm driving down and I'm like I'm pretty blacked out at this point, and I end up hitting a car. that was like in front of me. Yeah. So I hit this car and
that was moving or parked?
Oh yeah, we're definitely driving.
Okay.
Make no mistake,
know.
these cars are in motion.
I was just checking. The way the story's going, you never know.
Yeah, that's also a good point. It could have been a parked car, which would have been way better because I could have got away. I could have gotten away if it was parked. And so I hit the car, and apparently there was a car to my left as well because there's 2 lanes. I'm driving in the right lane. I hit the car in front of me, and as we're pulling over, I sideswiped a car. And
so now
I've hit two cars at this point.
So you're an overachiever. I got it.
Insurance companies, I do not think I hit that second car. But so we pull over and they're like, we got to call the cops. We got to call the cops. And the cops come. I'm drunk. Like I'm visibly drunk. And the cops are like, hey, we don't do car accidents here in Chicago. And I was like, I told you guys. And they were like, you got to go to the police station. Yeah, they don't. You have to go to the police station. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I didn't know that.
They were like, you got to go to the police station. I was like, I told you. And the cops were like, all right, get there safely. And they just left.
Safely?
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. I'm drunk at this point.
That is not the first drunk driving story on Menage-A-Pod. Shout out to Kenyon. He told one too.
That's
shit.
true.
Okay. Kenyon.
Yeah.
I know him as well.
Yeah.
His
story equally as crazy. Continue.
Oh no, it gets worse.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So we're over on the side of the road. Then I pull out and I apparently sideswipe this car again on the way.
Third car.
No, the same car.
car.
The same car
Jesus
that
Christ.
I did not sideswipe.
The first time, but the second time.
Second time, I possibly sideswiped them. So then we go out to the police station, and I am drunk. And at this point, I don't give a fuck. I'm just drunk, and I'm fucking around with the police inside the police station.
Jeez.
Yeah, and there was a moment where
It's a ballsy move.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I was like, hey, dude, chill the fuck out. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Whole time my wife is like, where the fuck are you? I'm not responding to any text messages. So she logs onto my iCloud to track my phone. And she just sees that my phone is in a police station.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Oh, no.
So I fuck around in the police station and then I finally get to leave. And I'm at this point, I am completely blacked out. I don't come to until I'm in a Walmart parking lot. Because my wife earlier in the day asked me to pick up something from Walmart.
So your last thought after this traumatic evening of sideswiping multiple cars,
Do not make my wife mad.
Hostile interactions with the police.
That's a
he
good
was
man.
like,
That's a good man. He's like, I'm fucking blackout drunk, but my wife needed something. So God damn it, I'm going to do it.
But I didn't get it. I got there and it was a 24-hour Walmart and I just sat there and I was like, they're closed.
Oh, no.
But luckily, when you said you fell asleep there, right?
No. I drove home after that.
Without anything.
With nothing. And so I just come home and my wife was like, what the fuck happened? And I was like, I got in a car accident. It's a whole thing.
All right, that is definitely a crazy story.
Oh my God.
So it was just real stupid.
You have a good wife because I probably would have lost my shit by then.
Oh, she was real
Because you
mad.
were probably gone all
It was
night
late
long.
as fuck. It was like 3, 4 a.m. by the time. It had to have been at least 4 a.m. by the time I got home. Yeah, it was late. She was so pissed off at me.
would've been
I just
so
slept on
mad.
the couch and then just sat there like a dog that pissed on the rug for the rest of the day.
Yeah. How long did that take her to get over that?
Oh, still getting over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it happened like 2 months ago?
It was about 2 months ago. Yeah.
No,
was about
really?
2
Oh,
months
shit.
ago.
I was joking.
No,
wow.
it really was. Yeah, about 2 months ago. She's still super mad. And I
get
don't
it.
drink as much like at all when I go out. Unless I'm out of town. Then I go crazy.
Go ham.
Totally.
Go ham. Lit.
Totally.
Sleep. Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah. I like what you did.
Oh, my God.
Real fucking professional.
Yeah, so that's that was my most recent crazy drunken night out.
That's a good one. I don't want to. We've definitely got stuff to talk about, so I don't want to go into my full story. But I will say the end of it ended up my house that I lived in. It used to be owned by a fireman, so the doorbell was actually a fire alarm. You pulled this fire alarm, and that rang the doorbell. But the old doorbell was there, and it wasn't attached to anything, so people would frequently push it, think it was the doorbell. So this particular night, I get hammered. I'm talking like alcohol poisoning drunk.
Yeah.
Bunch of buddies bring me home. I'm like 19 years old. They drop me off on this patio. Hit the fucking button a bunch of times to get my family. It doesn't ring. So my mom finds me like 4 hours later, covered in vomit, pants full of shit.
Oh, shut up.
Oh yeah, I mean like I had shit in my pants. So I mean I had shit like running out the bottoms of my jeans.
Oh man.
Why?
And I had a
What is
Jeep.
wrong with you?
I was
Sometimes
alcohol
you just
poisoning.
you just gotta let
Oh,
it
was
out.
it really?
Oh yeah, I had legit alcohol
No,
poisoning.
sometimes
I've
you
had
do
some
not
nights
just
like
have
those.
to let it out.
I've never pissed myself or shit myself. No, I shit myself one time not drunk, but like that was It was a whole situation. No.
Oh.
That's a whole situation.
Because I feel like that would be the only time that's okay.
Yeah.
Food poisoning.
We'll
no
say it was
joke.
food poisoning.
Yeah. Sure. That.
All right.
Wow. That's scary. That's really scary.
Yeah, so I when they found me, and then because my parents of the year
How'd you not die
threw me in the
without that
bathtub, and
Yes.
I fell asleep in the bathtub, fully clothed with pants full of shit,
And they almost drowned you.
and it almost drowned me. And I wake up confused as fuck, eat like a blueberry Pop-Tart, and then there was like a white rug in the bathroom, and then I threw up purple puke all over this white rug in the bathroom while I was ostensibly shitting my pants some more.
Oh my God.
you
That's
got to
really
get on my
scary.
podcast, definitely.
Dude, I've got more.
That
I've got
is-
more stories too.
Scary.
Yeah, and I was
now
trying-
I'm mad at your parents. Like, what the fuck?
Right? Take him to the
Yeah,
hospital.
take him to the hospital.
Now you're mad at my parents? Join the fucking club. Why do you think we have this podcast?
I don't know.
This podcast is
So
because my
much
parents didn't
trauma
love
has
me
made
enough.
you a funny man.
Let's talk about not being loved. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, normally whenever we have a guest come on, we send out a podcast kind of intake form. And when Ken filled out our guest form, he listed a few items as being in sort of his scope of expertise / things he might have some funny shit to say about. Yes. He talked about being married, which we talked about a little bit already. He talked about sex kinks and being pretty much open to talk about all things sex. So figured we have a couple questions, do a little bit of a Q&A session around these topics, and see if we can't keep everybody laughing. Sound
Okay,
good?
I'm in it. Yep.
All right. So we asked you already, Ken. You said you are married, and you've been married now 7 years, right?
Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been a stand-up comedian?
6 years.
Okay,
Just pulled up on 6. Yeah.
So do you think that that being a comedian is harder for you being married, or do you think if you were a single man just dating, that would be more difficult?
Oh man, way harder being married. Just because at this point now I'm traveling all the time, so I'm
Yeah.
like gone every weekend. Like this weekend I'll be in Wisconsin, next weekend I'll be in the Northwest, the weekend
Right.
after that I'll be somewhere else. So like it's more difficult now. And then also just like there are a lot of beautiful women.
No, stop.
There are.
Can we talk about that?
But-
There are
but-
so many.
But this isn't 2007. Now those beautiful women will come find your wife on Facebook.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
True.
so now I am by myself.
Just chilling on the road in a hotel room a lot.
Yeah, we'll call it chilling in the hotel room a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of jerkins being used out there.
Jesus Christ. That's incredible.
So, what does your wife do? Does she have like a steady job where she's home?
She's a stay-at-home wife. Yeah. So,
Oh.
3 years ago. Yeah. So 3 years, maybe a little bit. No, about 3 years ago. So we tried to have a kid, had a miscarriage. Sorry to be so sad, but
No.
then I was like, all right, no more working. We're just like you're gonna be stay at home. I make enough money now where you can do this. And so she was a stay-at-home wife for 2 years, and then we had a kid. And so now, like 3.5 years of being a stay-at-home wife mom.
Nice. So is your focus just your comedy, or do you have another job outside of that?
I have another job. So I moved out here to focus on comedy primarily. I actually just went to part-time 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, okay.
I can really just
Focus
focus
on
on
the
being
time.
comedy.
For
Yeah,
sure.
So now I only work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And most of the Thursdays I'm taking off, which they're probably going to be mad and firing me a little bit because of that. But yeah. So,
Wait, I have a question back to your wife because I'm obviously the female
yeah.
perspective on this
Let's
show.
talk about my wife. I love it.
How does she feel then? Because I can only imagine what that feels like, right? Like I don't have kids, but I do work and I do enjoy my job because it takes me out. And I always said, like, if I had a kid, I think I'd want to continue working, me personally, because I think too much kid stuff would make me bananas.
But you're a horrible person.
But I'm not a soft, kind, loving.
No, clearly,
So
your
just an
body
ice
could
box
not.
where your heart was.
Yeah.
Your
it's
body
true,
could
it's
not
true.
provide the support necessary
true.
to sustain a small child.
We've learned. Yeah. So
Evil ass bitch.
my
Just kidding, I
question
love
is,
you.
how does she feel about that? Because then if you're gone, because then it's one thing, right? If you're in like a normal
there,
9 to 5
yeah.
job and she gets to see you and like she spends her days with your kid and then, she gets to hang with you at night. But if you're traveling a lot, she's alone a lot.
Yeah. Wow.
gotta be
Way to
tough.
talk about some stuff that we're dealing with.
Oh, really? See? I mean, therapy brain. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm a therapist. That was like my
Oh, there
day
you
job
go.
beforehand.
There you
go. So
You don't have
getting
to answer, but
I'll talk
I
about
find
it.
it
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
interesting.
Yeah. So before it was like super dope because I wasn't traveling that much. Like
Sure.
on an occasion I would be out and like I would have to go to Oregon. We would all go together because it's like comedy. We don't have a kid yet. And then once we had a kid, which it just coincided with the time where comedy started taking off for me. So now it's become an issue where it's like, oh, you're always gone. So that was the big push for me going part-time. It wasn't like, oh, I want to focus on comedy. It was like, all right, comedy's going well, but I'm being a shitty like spouse at this point because I'm never home. I'm not being a good dad because when I am home, I'm tired of shit because I'm working 40, 50 hours a week and then I'm doing comedy. So now I'm like, all right, well, I can't go do comedy for open mic stuff to get known in the city, but then I'm also traveling. So it was just like a compromise where I'm like, let's meet in the middle. I make enough money where it's
Can you hear that?
yeah, I did.
Yeah, sorry.
I make enough money where it's like we'll be fine, but I'm not spending enough time. So it was just like one of the things where like, sure, we might struggle a little bit until I get like completely 100% stable. But it's I was just like, screw it. I would rather be broke and be happy in a relationship than
and that's
be busy and a shitty spouse.
Totally.
Have money, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even that dynamic, it says, I think, a lot about your wife, too. I know when you, in any relationship, when you make compromises and you give and you take, and it's good to have someone who's supporting you pursuing your passion, especially at a time where it's like growing and blowing up, and that support is important. So one of the other things we talked about, you had mentioned that you were okay talking about sex kinks. So we've had an episode that we did with a dominatrix named Sophia Chase. She owns 3 places in the city called Chicago Dungeon Rentals.
Okay.
She's like huge following. She acts a little bit. So we've done it like a kind of a BDSM deep dive, but I don't say that, they see people who aren't really exposed to it are just vanilla. I don't say that I'm vanilla because I like fuck around and get weird. But
he just likes a couple fingers in his butt. That's all.
I mean, whatever. As long as it's just to the knuckle. What the fuck?
He's like, don't whip me though. Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. 2 fingers in the ass to the knuckle, no whip. This guy gets it. Come on. All right. So, that's actually a great lead-in and fantastic joke. But where do you personally stand on kink? Do you have any kinks?
I don't know if they're kinks necessarily.
Preferences.
I'm like real. This is probably gonna come out so bad. I like choking and stuff.
Same.
I'm like a real. I do. It's something about it. There's something about like that weird like just
Power.
It's not power. The thing is, like, I don't mind. Like, I just be on top, do your thing. I love that. Oh my god, please, yeah. But something about choking, like that's a weird thing.
It is.
I'm not even like the whole like.
And you consider your job.
Just because you're able to share the power dynamic doesn't mean that you don't like it, because there is sort of like a power there, because that would make
that's
you
fair.
in control. Yeah,
yeah, that's fair.
It's funny that you mentioned that though, because I think as we. As people who are all, as a comedian, as podcasters, Jenna works in social media marketing. We're all on social media quite a bit. Yeah. And you've seen the perception of certain things that were considered previously deviant or quote unquote kink, and nothing more obvious than choking. It's become so mainstream.
It's normal now.
You see it all the fucking time.
I mean, if you don't choke me, do you love me? Like
exactly, for real.
I know, but what's funny is you think it's more normal maybe because you guys are like, you do it.
Because I'm
but like as a woman who's like, great.
You're like, what?
But
you
like,
choke me? Whoa.
But like,
just don't let her fool you. She'll let you choke shit out of her.
I would. But I feel like the thing is like, there aren't as many men that do it as you think that there are.
Really? That's weird, because me and every friend I have, we got like a whole roster of dudes ready to fucking.
I feel like there are a lot of like super vanilla men out there.
There are though. That is a real thing. Yeah, like choking people. I don't know. I'm kind of. I would say I'm pretty on the kinky side. So I recognize.
So how many fingers in the butt?
I don't want fingers in my butt. I'm real anti-finger. I have a joke about fingers in the butt.
Anti-fingers.
I'm real anti-fingers. Real anti-fingers in the butt. I have a joke about it, so people think that I'm my closer from my, like, if I'm doing an hour, I end on like fingers in the butt thing.
That's usually where it ends.
As you should.
Yeah, that's where it ends.
Fingers in the butt. That is the showstopper.
Yeah. And so people think that I'm like, no, don't put fingers in my butt. My wife will mess with me. She'll like touch my butt, like just underneath the cheek, and I'm like, man, almost. I fucking hit you. I don't like that. I don't like it at all.
It's like, I will catch a case. You keep that finger away from my asshole.
I don't like it. I do. I'm like all about everything. I'll like suck on toes. I'm probably like
number one fetish, by the way.
That is the number one
Sucking
fetish.
on toes?
Full feet fetishes.
I like feet. I don't know. I used to hate feet, but now I kind of like them. I like them.
I feel like
feet are
as we
gross.
mature,
I
those
can't do it.
preferences change a lot. And speaking of other previous guests, are you familiar with comedian Zach O'Ryan? Been on our show before, and he's obsessed. Like, dude is obsessed with feet. Like,
I wouldn't say I'm obsessed. I just like them. I
probably-
like look at people's shoes and I'm like, oh man, you got some nice toes, lady. I like your toes. I like. I like feet. I like. Oh my god, feet
So
are just
interesting.
I had a roommate who was really into it, and anytime we'd go out, I'd see like a real good looking woman, or maybe I'd have an interaction. I'd go back to him like, bro, see that blonde over there? Like, I just got her number. And he'd be like, yeah, but how her feet look?
Yeah.
All
No,
right,
that's the
I
thing.
guess.
Yeah, I would notice that immediately. I'm like, her feet are not great. Like,
Is that a raptor claw? What the fuck
One
is
more
that?
fucking thing us women have to worry about.
Yeah.
As if we don't have enough that you guys look at. Now we have to fucking worry about
Keep
what
your
our toes
fucking
look like.
bunions and
God
hammer toes.
damn it. It's so hard.
I don't care about. It's just butts and toes. That's it, man. And legs. I like legs too. I like legs a lot. So just like your lower extremities.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So, you're
So
like,
really, your
who
kink,
cares
your
from
kink
your
is
waist
a
up?
half woman. He wants
Yeah.
like a reverse centaur.
A centaur would be great. They got fat asses, right? It's like
Fair.
Amazing.
Fair.
That's amazing.
I don't mind a little bit of hair. That's fine.
Wow. That's also a kink, probably.
That's probably a kink.
Probably.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm not picky about it. I don't care.
Wait, what? What's the kink?
Hair.
Hair,
On-
yeah,
on
I
the
don't care, I
butthole?
don't care.
Oh wait,
What?
on the foot?
On the butthole.
Wait.
I don't want hair on the butthole. No.
No.
I definitely don't want hair on the butthole. But on the can I say
lost-
pussy on
This
the?
is just took a turn. I don't know what's going on right
That
now.
is a pussy painting.
No, it is not. Oh, for fuck's
The
sake.
consensus is
That is a
in.
pussy
Jenna
painting.
owns a
Holy
pussy
shit!
painting.
You own
Oh
a
my
pussy.
God.
That is a golden pussy painting.
I'm blue.
And
So, like,
golden and
that
blue.
needs some medicine.
I
I
love
don't
that.
really.
Could you, man?
Pussy is medicine.
You
It
need
makes
to-
me feel good. That
bet
is.
it does.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Start a day with pussy. It's like an apple. Keeps the doctor away.
Wow.
Keeps me calm.
Or not, depending on how much of it you're getting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Public
it is
service
an issue.
PSA, guys. Wear them rubbers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't be out raw dogging these people. That's a bad
I mean, if
business.
you raw dog them, just pick them wisely. I guess. I don't even know.
Wait, I want to get back to the hair question because this is something that's been coming up. I feel like a lot on. I've seen it on like a lot of like, sitcoms and stuff.
Oh yeah, all the sitcoms. Hair, bring it.
Well, it's like this running joke of like it's coming back. Like for a long time, women were bare. No,
Oh, you talking
I don't
about
want
body
a bush.
hair?
I don't want a bush. No.
Fuck no.
no,
bushes.
they're
No.
saying like a trimmed.
Trim-
I don't know.
Like a landing strip.
I guess.
I don't even really like that. I'd prefer it to be bald.
I prefer it to be bald, but I don't give a fuck. I'll eat a hairy pussy. I'll
Sure,
eat-
for
it's-
sure.
it doesn't
that
matter.
why?
I travel. I keep
Wait.
a machete in my back pocket to cut through the bush.
Is the no hair thing because it's easier to get to?
I just like eating pussy.
Yeah,
so, like,
big
that's the
fan.
thing. Yeah. Oh man. Top,
not because
top
you
three
wanna
things
fuck
like
a
drinking
teenager?
water, breathing air, eating pussy.
You know what my top three things are?
Oh.
Eating pussy, and eating pussy.
He's anemiated right now. He just
My hemoglobin is
very
fucked up, but I will
dehydrated.
eat pussy all day.
Oh my god. This is disgusting. You're disgusting.
Never mind.
No, I don't. The hair thing doesn't bother me too much. I prefer it to be like clean. I don't the whole like teenage thing because ladies want guys to be shaven too. So like I feel like there's a whole
That's
like
true.
a shame on that. And I'm a hairy person, so like there's a whole issue with that. Like how much should I trim? Like do I trim my ass too, and then I have like this weird hairline on my legs? Like do I trim the legs too? There's a whole situation.
Bro.
I get it, ladies. I'm with you.
Is this the next idea for like the award-winning web series? Ken Hamlett and his like ass hair. You just fucking trimming it up, keep it all manicured.
If you have the hair, ladies, keep the hair. Just trim it down though. Like definitely trim it down. Don't let it be a bush.
What if you were a single man? Hypothetical situation, you're a single man.
I think about this all the time. Yeah.
You for sure. You run into like prime Halle Berry, whenever that time was prime Halle Berry, and she's down, but she's got hairy armpits.
No, that's gonna throw.
It's Halle Berry.
Let's keep her arms down.
You ever seen Monsters Ball where she's topless, bro? Come on.
If you're like the proper choking position would be arms down. So we're good.
That's totally how I'm gonna start judging the attractiveness of every woman. Is like, what's she gonna look like when she's staring down the barrel of these 14-inch pythons?
Wow.
Did I just say that?
Yeah, you did. Jesus.
Jesus
I
fucking
think that
Christ.
should be the title of this episode.
14-inch pythons. Yeah. Actually, so here's a question unrelated. And this is, you're going to get a fucking laugh out of this. This is probably, I think what I'm about to say to you will be the fulfillment of how you anticipated this joke would play out. So you have two
I get a good joke.
You have two URLs you can type to go to your webpage.
Yes, I do.
One is your name.
Ken Hamlett.
Yes. And the second is
bigblackschlongs.com.
okay. So before we get into the reasons why it is bigblackschlongs.com,
I can tell you.
not yet. Let's not bury the lead here. So today, upon listening to your podcast, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. But I decided to do it like an hour after I listened, and my brain remembered it as Big Black Dongs. So just wait, it gets better. So I go to Big Black Dongs, where I saw, unsurprisingly, big black
As you could
dongs.
imagine.
So then I was like,
And
wait.
then you started to scroll, and you're
just
like,
wait,
this one looks
just
good.
wait,
This
just wait.
one looks great.
No, then I went, wait, maybe it was Big Black Dong singular because it's his
singular,
website.
yeah.
He's just one dong. So then I saw a whole full new array of Big Black Dongs. Then,
So many black dogs.
folks, I have had a
You're so
veritable
well-educated
I have had a
today.
veritable cornucopia of black cock in my face today, guys. So then I was like, all right, I listened to it, Big Black Schlongs.
Yeah.
But then I typed it wrong.
Typed it wrong,
SCHLONGS, which, believe it or
Probably
not,
something
guys,
else.
more Big Black Schlongs.
Oof.
I feel this
Violated?
day.
Your
this
eyes
day
feel
will
violated?
forever trigger stress
Like,
for
I did not
me,
give
Ken.
consent.
So now that we know what can happen if you make the wrong decision by exactly which website to go, guys, do yourself a favor. Go to KendaleHamlet with 2Ts.com. Don't fuck around with that. Nobody needs that sort of day.
It's SHLONGS. I spell it out so many times on the podcast, and I tell people I'm not responsible for what you click on.
I can tell
spell that
you,
wrong.
we've 60 episodes into this, we've met some of the funniest comedians in Chicago, and what happened to me today as a result of your website is the funniest thing I've ever experienced. So kudos to you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Okay, so what prompted that? How did you come to Big Black Schlongs?
So man, I'm sorry for all the smacking. But
It's cool. I do it all the time. So Jenna, for a while, it was like her thing.
I know, and then he yelled at me for it.
yeah, I'm trying to get ahead of it. I'm trying not to ruin the audio. So it was a joke. It was literally just a joke for a while. I was like, oh, if you like my comedy. So I'm like, yeah, did you guys enjoy the show tonight? And the people go, yeah, oh my God. I'm like, if you want to see more of me, visit my website.
That's funny.
Is the joke
bigblackschlongs.com. And then people would just send me URLs all the time, like after shows, like random people. At first, it was just a couple of comics like, hey, man, that joke's funny. You should buy the URL. And then when it got to the point when I was like working at clubs all the time, people from clubs would be like, you were funny as hell. This URL is still available. You should purchase it. And then I
Oh,
was
definitely.
like, man,
That's
what is
funny.
What is
Sometimes
That's
the
good, though.
universe
You
just
should.
presents it to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, exactly. And then I
That's
was
really
like, the
funny.
joke became the website, and now it
Is
sells
the joke
itself.
that you really have a micro penis?
Ooh,
No, it's
also a
definitely
kink.
definitely a big black song.
Okay. This guy's like, it's on brand, motherfucker. I am not trying to advertise
No
something I'm not
false
working with.
advertising. Here.
My nickname in college was the Destroyer. That is
Oh.
what that. Yeah.
now?
Crushing more ass than a donkey slaughterhouse.
No, it was just that was the ladies. They named my dick the Destroyer. It was the
Wow.
they made a shirt for me and everything. It was a whole.
Oh, when you get a shirt, that
shirt?
means it's
Yeah.
official.
Wow.
Which remind us, go to teespring.com /stores/ Menage-A-Podcast and buy some of our official merch, including our bubble icon tee with, what is it? Heather Blue. Yeah, get that shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Not a big black ween.
Bigblackschlongs.com. We
Not
should
a ween, a schlong.
we're gonna
Whatever.
we need I think we're gonna start making episode targeted merch. And so for this episode,
Yeah,
it's
hell
got to
yeah.
be Black Schlong related.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine?
Do a big black schlong shirt. Do
will
the
someone
Destroyer.
send
Do the
that then
shirts
to
that
my
say
mother?
Destroyer. Yeah.
Please send it
sell
to my
those.
mom.
The
Yes.
Destroyer. Oh.
Please.
One of my friends, actually a comic friend of mine, just sent me a meme. You probably don't. It's not safe for work, but he sent me a meme with like his face superimposed on like this dude with like a giant, like a fucking like 2-foot dick, and he sent it to his mom. And I was like, bro, you sent that to your mom? And so it was like he does it all the time, and he's like, bro, your website is hilarious because I do this all the time. And so I was like, oh yeah, man, I'm probably gonna steal that and superimpose my face on it.
That's incredible.
I've been thinking about
that
selling doing like a dildo, like just doing like my dick, like doing a shape of my dick.
People have done that.
You could.
It's kind of like Jenna Jameson. You can get like her ass
pussy,
mold
yeah,
or pussy mold, and
I'm like, people would buy the shit out of that. I have had several offers.
you got to have that on bigblackschlong.com, man. They're selling those chocolate dicks right now. You can have chocolate dicks on there.
That's on my Instagram. Somebody made a chocolate dick cake, and so true to size too.
Speaking of Instagram, what is your Instagram handle?
Ken Hamlett. KenHamlett.
Do not go to @BigBlackSchlongs on Instagram. We also cannot guarantee what content you will come across there.
No guarantees. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a couple more questions for you before we wrap things up. These are just some questions. We've always been intending on having a format where we have sort of like a regular roll call of just like general questions about relationships. And we figured, I listened to your podcast. You obviously super polished, and we thought we should give this a shot with you because you're going to crush it. So, how old were you when you lost your virginity?
Oh man, this is actually I lost my virginity in college. I was 19?
Okay.
Maybe 20. 19 or 20. I think it was 19. It was definitely 19.
Was it a good experience or a bad experience?
So that's the thing. I have a question. Y'all can answer this right now. We're gonna figure this out on air.
We are the experts.
Yeah.
So I lost my virginity to a chick, and so we had sex. We drank all night. I actually got head at a party, and
cheers.
Different girl.
No, same girl. Yeah, and then we went back to her place. We had sex all night, but I never came.
That's still
I feel like that
still counts.
Does that count?
Yeah,
It does. I didn't come though.
I don't think that matters.
It doesn't for guys though. Like a guy,
no.
I didn't come. We had sex for hours.
But what if you make
virginity,
a decision, a bad decision, and you sleep with someone you're not proud of, like someone doesn't necessarily meet your standards?
That counts though. If you came, I feel like if you
just
came.
wait. So so say you sleep with someone who you're just like, oh, I'm drunk, I'm making this bad decision, and you don't come because you're drunk and because she's not doesn't meet this standard that you have. Guys, don't hate me. Women who are listening, who know me, I'm not horrible.
Some not fans.
I know this is gonna get chopped right the fuck out probably, but. Does that count if you sleep with her and then you don't, and then your buddies want to roast you about it? No, I didn't really sleep with her. I didn't come. So
I think if you don't come, it doesn't count. I feel like it doesn't count. If
the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
You guys, if there's penetration. Okay, look at this. I'm not going to get.
I get it from the ladies'
too
side.
serious right now, but like, look at it from like a rape perspective, right? It's still considered rape if you put your penis in someone's lady bits, and
why do you keep calling it lady?
I'm just saying. It's a thing.
It is.
That's so
then
true.
Technically that's sex, right? So
damn it.
Yeah.
So
I think I
didn't come on the first time I had sex. That's so shitty.
That sucks though. That sucks for you.
But,
or not maybe because you went a really long time.
I know for a lot of men
but that's normal
usually-
though. It doesn't happen. It takes forever for me to come. Like a quickie is like 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
He's like just beating it against the wall before he starts to make sure it's alive. He's like, can you feel that? What the fuck?
I don't know what that is. I talked to me and my twin brother are very close, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I just don't." Like both of us,
wait,
like, just
identical twins?
We're fraternal, but we look identical.
Okay.
Well, it's actually still up in the air. My dad did not give a great description of whether or not we were identical or fraternal. So, so I still don't. We don't know at this point, but we look a lot alike. And he was like, "Dude, I can't come when I get head," and I was like, "Yeah, me neither, man."
Ooh, I've always thought that I couldn't.
I think to this day, I think a handful of times, maybe.
Come from BJ?
From BJ's.
It's hard, man. And you know what? Honestly, I've run into in my life like a couple people who were like determined.
Yeah.
And
that was the saddest thing. She cried during the BJ. That was the scariest moment of my life. I was like, I am a young black athlete in college, and there's a white girl crying in my dorm room right now. This is it.
This is where we shift to our true crime podcast. It's either like a story of like inequality in the justice system, or just like it's going to be something horrible.
Yeah, that was like my scariest moment. That's. My brother has similar stories, and I was like, that is something wrong with us, I think. I think for being twins, we lost oxygen to our dicks. I don't know.
Well, that happened to Kyle. But remember that happened to him? They take it as like some sort of like a quest almost, like a competition for themselves to make it happen, and then it doesn't happen, and they all think they can make it happen. He's like, no, it's just not gonna.
Like, it's not you.
Yeah, it's not
me.
you. Yeah.
And then
but this time it actually matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Womp womp.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the worst thing when you're just like, no, I'm gonna make you come, and you're like, nah, it's probably just not gonna happen, and I'm sorry, like that is not.
But although I gotta tell you, I don't understand it. Like as a woman, I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do me.
Yeah, like my turn.
Yeah, totally. Who cares?
So there was a
Less work
woman.
for me.
There was a woman from the town I grew up in. She was what they would call a chicken head. She definitely was going around passing out lots of BJs. And I had a buddy who had no game at all, like literally no game. He never got laid. He sucked with girls, and he was always like super down about it. So one night we were all out, and I was just like, dude, I guarantee you, in one sentence, I can get this girl to blow you. And he's like. And she loved giving head. And he's like, how are you going to do that? And I go, watch. And I looked up. I was like, hey, he was just saying that he's never had an orgasm from a blowjob in his life. And she was like, oh, it's because he hasn't had a blowjob from me. Dude, like 2 a.m., I get a text message from this girl that said, heads up, your boy does come from blowjobs. And I was like,
She's a champ of the people.
Yeah, she's out here fucking.
Get it together.
I said her name.
I like her personality.
Yeah, you
I
did.
like everything about her. What city was that again?
So crazy.
What's her number? I mean,
crazy.
no,
Here we go. So
not
I'm going
right.
to have to edit. I really will have to edit all this out for like threat of legal issues. But okay, so back to
keep that.
the last couple questions. Here's a good one for you. We talked already. We asked you to pretend you were single, and you acknowledged how much you loved doing that and how frequently you do it. So if you were single, here's a question for you. And this is something I thought of a lot. Would you rather have just a fucking hysterical but average looking partner or a knockout who was just dumb and had no sense of humor?
Hysterical.
Really?
All day, yeah. I couldn't do I don't want to say that. No, I'm going to say it. Fuck it. I don't care. I work with this chick, and she's like super fucking hot, but personality is just terrible. And I'm like, every day I'm like, somebody has
We all
to
know
be
women
with
like
you.
that.
Yeah, like somebody's with you. And she's in a relationship. I'm like, that's got to be terrible. Like, yeah, you're beautiful, but like, fucking, hey, get a personality. Like, that's so shitty. I would get so bored, like immediately bored with that. There's no way. Like, I don't give a shit how hot you are. Like,
For sure. I agree 100%.
like, if I can't talk to you and like hang out and just be a dickhead and like joke around with you, then I don't give a fuck about like how hot you are. I can go fuck anybody any night.
Just as long as she has great feet.
Yeah, you gotta have great feet.
Yeah, fuck the rest of it. But if she's got great feet and
But,
she's
like,
funny.
And you got to have a real strong like collarbone that can hold up to a choking.
Yeah, like if she has a mediocre personality, great feet, and strong neck, like, oh my god.
That's a sweet spot right there.
See,
Now that's a kink.
Hear me out. This is back to the choking, because it always goes back to the choking. But is this just me? I got from a fellow choker, I got to know. If you put the hand out on a choke attempt, if you just like lay it in place in the first go, you're not like, you just kind of lay it in place. And you kind of, me personally, I wait for some tactile feedback. Like, do they like lean their chin up and arch their throat into your hand? Have you ever had that?
Never even paid attention. I just like to choke.
You just do it. You just do it without consent. You're like, it's cool.
If they say no,
no,
then I'm like, are you saying like no, like you like this? And I don't let up until they're like,
want a
no, I
safe
do
word?
not like this. Yeah, that's I don't know. I'm like real weird about it. There's probably something wrong psychologically, but I like there's something about the choke that just makes you like your balls feel great. I don't know what it is. There's something. If I could explain like the tingly feeling in your balls that you get before you're about to come, that's like the whole choke.
That I
It's
feel
like
like
a woman's orgasm. Your orgasms last so long and they're beautiful.
They do.
but she just doesn't have them that frequently.
Oh man,
That's not true.
Oh man, yeah. She's like, I have them all the time by myself.
It's,
But
it's fine. Like,
I just
sad.
wish somebody else was there when I was. Something like the woman's orgasm. That's the feeling that you get when you choke somebody. There's something about that. I don't even know. Maybe I'm just
Now I wish for a minute that I could know what a woman's orgasm feels like.
oh man, you should try to give somebody one.
I mean, I'm fairly certain I have. But
that's what they tell you.
I was, you know what? See, okay, so
like, oh, great. Oh, I just came.
I'm gonna give you a peek behind the
really
curtain, Ken.
tired.
I'm gonna give you a peek behind the curtain. Every night when
Please
these
don't.
end, the guest leaves, and I look at Jenna and I say thoughts on the guest, and I was already plotting to be like, oh man, he was really good. He was real funny. Now I'm be like, fuck that dude.
Yeah, should we release this episode?
I'm cutting all these show notes. I'm gonna be like, fuck drunk, whatever, fuck it all. I'm hurt right now, man. I thought we were cool.
man.
I felt like we were building a bond. All right. Well, one last thing. This is a tradition that kind of fades in and out of fashion here, but we want to keep it going forward. If you have a worst date story or like a kind of a just when you were single or even maybe a date early on when you were with your wife and things just went horrible or bad, you got a date story for us?
Oh man. I don't. The thing is, like, me and my wife been together since like on and off from like high school. So we were together like at 18, and I'm 20.
Oh yeah,
now,
no
so,
real
like,
dating. You've been locked in for a long time.
Yeah, like there was just like some fucking around when I was fucking like in college when we break up and stuff like that.
Right.
But
messing around trying to finger bang chicks and shit.
Yeah, we'll say that. Just choking random chicks. There's a couple, I would. If
Dude,
I, if
you
I
should
could
see how his left hand is so much bigger than his right hand. It's so weird, man. It's so weird.
I try to give myself strangers regularly, so that
Oh,
left
for
hand has
sure.
to be stronger.
Jenna, you know what the stranger is, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Thank
just
you.
checking. All right, so no worst date story ever.
worst dates,
Well,
yeah.
that's a shame, but the rest of the stories were pretty fantastic, and I want to just say thank you to Ken Hamlett so much for spending time talking to us today. It's been great having you on the show. And before we go, why don't you remind everyone where they can find you online, where they can check out your podcast, find you on social media and whatnot?
Fuck yeah. So my podcast and live show that travels across the nation. I'm in 8 states right now, 2 countries, possibly moving to a 3rd country in the August time. Maybe
Is it
September.
China? Are you going to get coronavirus?
It'll be like
Oh my
the
God, please
UK.
don't
It'll
go
be
there.
multiple. It'll be multiple countries, like in the
Nice.
the UK, Germany, a couple of spots. But the show is called A Drunken Night Out. It's literally available on every podcast network. I have a Patreon where we release the live show episodes, and my social media is Ken Hamlett, KenHamlett. That's on everything. And then my website is bigblackschlongs.com. That's Big Black SH LONGS. That's SHLONGS.
Editor's note: do not go to Big Black Dong's Big Black Dong or Big Black Schlongs with a C. We are now scheduled to return to your program.
Yeah. And then if you don't want to type that in, it's Kendale, KendaleHamlett.com. And so find me on all that stuff, and
Awesome.
see you out there.
Sounds good. All right, guys, make sure you check out Ken on Instagram, check out his podcast, and we'll make sure we post all this information in the show notes. Again, Ken, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, if you want to find out more about Menage-A-Pod, head over to our Instagram at Menage-A-Podcast, where you will find our link tree that includes links to our Facebook group, Twitter account, website, top episodes, which this one will obviously be, and more. Finally, a quick thank you to everyone who makes this show happen. Jenna, my podcast life partner, I love you, boo.
I love you too,
Great
buddy.
guests like Ken. Ken, thanks again. And myself, I am awesome. Just kidding. I kind of suck. And you guys, thanks for downloading. Until next time, share us in your IG stories, rate and review on Apple Podcasts, and find any way you can to tell a friend about Menage-A-Pod. And of course, good luck out there.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.